Hey y'all, aren't you just loving this Easter cold snap we're having? I love the cool weather, and I love Easter, and I hope you had a happy one. And I was just thinking about Easter, and what God began to do on Easter in the lives of His church is just one of those things that you can't even explain. It's just so awesome, and God is so faithful. I'm a child of the 80s, and I grew up loving movies of the 80s, Rocky and all those things. Karate Kid's one of my favorites, and you probably seen Karate Kids. The remakes don't count. It's got to be the original Karate Kid. And even 2 and 3 really aren't that great, but number 1, man, it's just a classic. It's one of those deals, and it's got to be the one with Ralph Macchio and the old guy, Mr. Miyagi, the guy from, he was in Happy Days and all that, and he kind of promises that he's going to teach Daniel one night after he gets beat up, and he takes care of him. He promises that he's going to teach him how to do karate, and he says, I'm going to promise to teach you karate, but you got to promise to learn it. And the same kind of principle is true with us in our spiritual life. God does such a work in us. He redeems us. He does the work of salvation in our life through Jesus on the cross and the resurrection. But then He promises to continue to sanctify us or to make us holy after He saves us. And so while we don't have any work in any part of the work in salvation, we do have a part in sanctification that we have to kind of agree, like Daniel's son did in Karate Kid. We have to agree to do the work. We have to agree to learn karate, so to speak, because God promises to do His part. Matter of fact, Paul's writing to the Philippians, and he says this in Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. He says, I am sure of this, that He who started a good work in you will carry it to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. So Paul tells this church, he says, God's going to do what He set out to do in your church, in your lives. And I think He's going to do the same in us. God is always going to be faithful to do His part. But we also have to do our part. We have to promise to learn karate, so to speak. So I want to encourage you, even in the downtime of this quarantine and all that, but even as we move out of that and we move into life, God's always going to be faithful to work in us and do what He's called us to do. And He's going to form us into what He wants us to be. But we have to kind of do our part in that. We have to agree to allow Him to teach us and allow Him to grow us and allow Him to make us into what we want us to be. So today, as you're going throughout your day, hey, I want you to pursue Him. I want you to promise Him that you're going to be faithful to the process, because He is certainly going to be faithful to the process, and we're going to be better for it as the day of Jesus approaches. I hope that this is encouraging to you today, and I hope you have a great one. See you next time.